I'd like to call this meeting of the RTM Park and Rec Committee to order. We are meeting virtually via Zoom. Let me explain why. I know some people noticed that when I forwarded what Mike Wheeler had said, he had listed room 119. Here's the deal. This is the sign-in information that we're going to have for the whole year. So whether we are in 119 or whether we are in the Mather Center or whether we are completely on Zoom, it will be the same thing. So that's why he had written that in there. But it didn't mean that we weren't just on Zoom tonight. So we'll be on Zoom for our first 3 meetings of this year. And then we will move into in person, but it will be hybrid, and people will be able to call in. I mean, to come in via Zoom. So, okay, that explains that. So for attendance, I essentially have taken attendance. So Patty,
Here.
Diane,
Here.
Cheryl, not here. Kelly, not here. Penny Wilson,
Here.
Carrie Cardone,
Here.
Adele here. Jean,
Here.
Andy Millar here.
Here.
Sandy Savage,
Here.
Anna Lohman,
Here.
Jane MacPatrick,
Here.
Bill Van Loan,
Here.
Trevor Hawley.
Here.
Okay, it's all but one. Very nice. Thank you, guys.
All but two.
First on the agenda is approval of the minutes from December 10th. Does anybody have any corrections or additions to the minutes?
No.
Barring that, may I have a motion to approve the minutes from December 10th?
So moved.
Sandy moves, Patty seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, I hear everybody, yes?
Yes.
Yes. The folks
Yes.
that don't have, make sure you speak if you don't have your, if you don't have an audio, if you don't have a video on, okay? All righty. All right. Next, we're going to do the update on the operating and budget and the 6-year capital plan. I got the information I sent to you was what went to the it's what the commission voted on. So I don't think we had a complete, things changed. So anyway, so let's start with the operating budget and go through. And then after I do that, we're gonna answer the questions that we had about the budget, and I'll give you the answers that Jen Favis gave to us. But on the operating budget, under administration expenses, there was one change, and it was for the full-time salary line. I assume that's because they hired the not the manager, but the one of the positions in the office. So that the change from 120,851 to 123,851. So it went up a bit. And under beach and court facilities, under operational supplies, $4,000 was added. I don't know any explanation for this, but that's not a lot of change from what we reviewed to begin with. So that's good.
Sorry,
And
that full-time salary changed?
yes.
Okay.
And
And then-
also the facility repair and maintenance went up from 3,375 to 12,975. I don't have a reason. That's the way it did. These were the final adjustments to the budget before the commission voted on them.
It went
So-
from 3,000 to 12,000, but
It
you
did.
had said it was only increased by 4.
No. Different one. different one. If you've got if you printed out what I sent
I
to you,
did.
okay, then if you compare that with what we had and what I was looking at was the original from November. So perhaps this changed before in December and I just didn't notice. But at any rate, for the final copy from the original draft in November to this, that was the change. Okay.
Can you just repeat the total amount that will be then for under beach and court facilities?
Beach and court facilities.
That's what you're talking about, right?
No, I've gone through the rest of it too. The $4,000 was added to operating supplies under beach
Oh,
and
I'm
court
sorry.
facilities.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the other change was to grounds, fields, and buildings expenses. The facility repair maintenance line moved up from 3,375 to 12,975.
Got it. I see it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And moving on to any other questions?
Which one was the operating supplies under? Sorry, I'm trying to follow along with the.
Operating supplies was under
facilities,
beach
that
court
one?
and facilities.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. Okay. Then we move on to the capital, which looks different. It isn't very different, but it looks different because they put in some at least placeholders for the design and construction of some of the ADA things that will happen in the future. But to start with, there was a change in the original ask for the circulation and ADA accessible routes plan at Cherry Lawn. It went from 60,000 to 75,000. I assume that she's just got a got a better number to use.
So do we think 60 was just her ballpark and 75 is now a bid?
It's either that or the other is, I don't think it's a bid, but I think it would have been an old number if you wrote, because that 60 was in there from last year, I think. I just made that up. I don't know the answer to the question.
Okay. If we can
Sorry.
follow up, if we can just ask that as a follow-up question, that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Also, I noticed that resurfacing the pickleball courts was moved from the 27, 28 to 26, 27. So it's moved into this year's budget, this year's ask. And that's at Cherry Lawn. So that was $40,000 moved up. Moving on to McGuan, the patching of the parking lot was increased. I have wrote it down from $20,000 to $50,000, but at any rate, it is $50,000 in the ask. I noticed when we moved to Holohan,
Houlihan. Callahan.
Holohan, thank you.
You're welcome.
I can never spell that too, by the way. It doesn't matter how many times I've asked. I go to do it and I do it wrong. So anyway, maybe I'll remember that now to correct me. Anyway, Holohan and Town Hall Fields is what they added to the asks there. And then they added the pickleball court, just another pickleball court.
Holohan?
Excuse me, no, excuse me, not.
No, that's down at Weed Beach. That's a
Down at
pickleball
Weed, I'm
roll.
trying to read here.
That's just a
Maybe
roll.
I need more glasses. Okay, let me back up then. My husband says that, and I hate that. Sorry. So the only thing that's changed at Holohan, say it right, Holohan,
Yes.
was that they added and Town Hall Fields. That was it. There was no change, other than there's dollars in there for what they're going to do for the ADA. Weed Beach. Replacing the gatehouse has now been moved out of this year's budget into next year's budget.
That looks like it's gonna fall apart down at the ground level.
I know it. I know it. And they added $5,000. I guess that's probably just inflation. The pickle roll court system, they added one more because they want to have two courts, convert two paddle courts in the off season, so that they've added the 12-7 in there. And
Adele,
yes,
just for some of the new folks like Anna, when we're talking about pickleball,
yeah, explain it, Patty.
when we're talking about pickleball,
Yes.
one of the things, Chair Lawn became, pickleball there became a huge success. So it was wonderful because so many people are down there. The downside is, now it's overpopulated, we're having traffic issues, et cetera. So the goal was to how can we shift some pickleball elsewhere for people across town? And so we short term, the Parks and Rec Commission looked into it and went to a club to see what's called a pickleball roll. And I think it was Innis Arden where they went down. And that particular club put that on top of their paddleball courts. The reason that works well is because paddleball is a winter sport, and then you're done. It's really kind of like you play it from November until the end of February. And then the rest of the time, those courts sit idle. So it was a great way to take an existing court, which is the right size for pickleball, and just lay down a surface for it. And that's what they did in the fall here down at Weed Beach on one of the courts. And that is why they're proposing to do it for another one, because we have all of these paddleball courts that do sit idle in the off season.
I think they also noticed that, people, obviously when people were playing on the new surface, they also noticed other people playing on other paddle courts playing pickleball. So they thought there might be good use of, there's more need than they were filling. So that was,
Yeah, definitely. And if you talk to a bunch of people who do play pickleball, it gets hot in the summer. So it's wonderful to be down by the beach and be playing down there and have a breeze. So it's a win-win, spreading, that across town. So I just want to explain
Patty,
what that meant versus the hard surface back. Go ahead.
Patty, are people aware that up at the middle school, which is behind my house, there's 10 pickleball courts that are lined in the bus parking lot?
Yeah, but people aren't sure they're allowed to use it. They're
Well,
not aware. That should be
explored. I mean, it's a tremendous asset just sitting there and nobody uses them. They just need nets.
There's specific rules around, because I live right by the Darien High School. And so if I'm walking around the track, I can't do it during school hours, right? You can only do it off hours. Even that circle, even the kind of the circle around the back of it, you can't. And so I agree with you. I think
the weekends would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Weekends too.
It's blocked off.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing it up. I think we should point that out to the Parks and Rec Department, just that they could be coordinating with the folks from the Education Department, facilities.
good point. Thank you.
Adele, it's Andy. Are we still on Weed Beach?
We are still on Weed Beach, Andy.
I see 500 grand for replace playground. Does anybody know what that involves? It's a beautiful playground.
I think that's the one playground. Well, that's the playground that hasn't been replaced, and it was because of in part because of ADA that it would need to be. Certain things would need to be done. Originally, it was on the 6-year plan to replace the playground because it's getting old. Anyway, but they did increase the amount of money because I think they only had it in there for like 200,000, and the commission said, "Well, come on, we know what these other playgrounds have cost us, so that now it's in for 500,000." But the thought is that it's aging and it needs to be brought up to ADA standards as they do it. So that's why it's in there in the 27, 28. Yeah,
it only cost 125 to build it, and it's in perfectly good condition.
Well,
I don't understand. That can't be just for ADA innovation or adaptation because it's perfectly flat.
Yeah, no, I know it's not all just for that, but I think it's a combination, and I'll let them explain that. I can't explain it for you.
I think
Well,
they just
I
threw
would like
that in as a
excuse me,
placeholder number.
Patty, please,
Sure.
I would like to request detailed on how they got to the 500. How do we do that?
Well, I think they're using how much it cost at Cherry Lawn as a bit of a template. That doesn't mean
That's
it
not
necessarily
a
cost that
detailed
now.
estimate. Did somebody
Yeah.
just pull it out of their back pocket?
Well,
No, I mean, they have
I'd like to
numbers
know
for what it
what
cost
that
at Cherry Lawn.
entails. I'd like to
I
know
think-
what this entails.
Sure,
How do
sure.
I find that?
Well, I'll ask the question, okay?
I think when you're
Right.
looking at 5 years out on these capital items, they're just placeholders. They're really pie in the sky numbers. I don't think there's any. I don't believe there'd be any detail.
Andy,
It's
it's Patty.
a guesstimate.
I do
Some-
agree.
Somebody
I just
had to
wanted to
think
say, I
about
do
it.
agree with you that I would like, what I was trying to say was, I think it was just a placeholder number, but you can't, I mean, that 500 grand at Cherry Lawn, that was 2 playgrounds. That's 2 separate playgrounds that we put in there. So you
Yeah.
can't, this is 1 playground. So I think, again, that was just a number that they threw on. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more discussion on that. And, Adele and I talked about this. We really would like more detail on how much of this ADA, and we're all supportive of ADA, but there was a discussion about, if we have 6 playgrounds in town, does every single one have to be ADA, or is 3 out of 5 have to be, or is it just the entrance of it? So there's a lot.
Yes,
They've
exactly.
created an ADA
Patty, I'm
committee.
just not
Yeah.
buying that 500 grand will make that playground ADA
I agree.
accessible.
Right,
agree.
no,
I'd
it
like
can't
to
be
know.
just for that.
I'll take it verbally. Well, what we'd like to do is demolish the playground and replace it. Okay, then 500 grand sounds good, but there's
Well, I
nothing
think
wrong
that
with
is
it.
that is what it is for, Andy.
Well, I'd like to hear,
Okay, sure.
not your guess.
My pleasure. Okie doke. I'm gonna move on
Right.
to, this is for you too, Andy. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna move on. I'm going to the park and rec equipment. The stand-on mower. It was refined up to
Oh, dear.
stand-on mowers, 2 of them, refined up to 28,800. That must be because the prices of them went up in the interim.
No
Make sure
comment.
there's anything else here that I've missed. That's it, all of it, right? Okay. I'm going to move on to, because I just mentioned you, Andy, to the questions that we asked. And since I was just talking about the mowers, I'm going to start with that one. Andy had asked, why do we need 2 stand-on mowers? Are these mowers we see maintenance using regularly? And the answer from Jen was the 2 stand-on mowers are to replace 2 walk-behind mowers that we currently use and are 20 plus years old and need to be replaced. The stand-on mowers are more efficient and also better for our staff. These mowers are used for most of our properties.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
The mate, also a question, I'm going to leave the sand to last. In the 6-year, another Andy question, in the 6-year capital improvement plan, there was $50,000 for repurposing the concessions for the concession renovation.
Yes.
It's been in the 6-year plan for a while. And then Andy noticed that it said possible ADA renovation. So my question to Jen was, does the $50,000, which was previously designated for repurposing the concession building, remain for that purpose? Yes, the money was to renovate the old concession area, but no specific purpose had been identified. Based upon ADA site report, although we tried to make the restrooms ADA, let's see if I can make sense out of this. Although we tried to make the restrooms ADA compliant, in some ways they do not meet the requirements. So the thought is that we can possibly utilize the prior concession area to meet those needs, as well as additional restroom facility needs in that space. I think that answer is, you were right to get your ears pricked up there for about the ADA part of it. And the answer is, there's no decision been made on that, but they're looking at it, the area, because they may need to use the space for the restrooms.
Yeah, if Cheryl were here, she would tell us the story on the restrooms.
Yeah, well, so that that's got to be part of the problem.
Yeah.
They are aware that one toilet in the men's and one toilet in the ladies is probably not sufficient too. So between that and not quite being ADA compliant, even though they tried, so I guess that to be decided, I think.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Cheryl asked about the electrical connections at the gatehouse for Pear Tree Point Beach. I got to tell you that I drove by there this afternoon just to see if I could see anything. Well, there was a lot to see, but one thing that you would be interested in was there was a giant hole right at the entrance there that they did. I assume they're putting in water retention things, but I don't know for sure. But at any rate, the answer to her question was, have the electrical connections to the gatehouse at Pear Tree Point Beach. The gatehouse has been been adequately protected from the heavy truck traffic associated with the construction project.
Oh, good question.
She said, I have to check on how they handle the connections, but regardless, the construction people, they will need to get it back to the condition it was in prior to the project before the project is complete. So that's on them.
Actually, speaking of Pear Tree, is Sandy there? Sandy?
Yep,
Savage?
I am.
Sandy, I noticed they were digging a ditch where the Wi-Fi cable went along between the parking lot and beach. Do you know if they're going to remove that or what they're doing there?
I didn't know that they were going to remove it. I don't know that. I can ask that at the next meeting.
Oh, it'd be great.
Good. Sandy's
We
going to give
spent a
us
lot of money putting in that Wi-Fi with a concessionaire who never showed up.
Yeah, I know. Another question, good question. It was you, Andy, about the handicap parking in town. As Darien moves forward with ADA compliance, it was noted that not all handicap parking spaces in town are equal. One member encouraged handicapped accessibility on the passenger side of a space as well as the driver's side. This is kind of interesting response. There are different ways to address handicap spacing. FYI, something Jen learned in the process is that vehicles can park on the cross-hatched areas. So if it is only on one side, the handicapped they can park on the other to give more room to the side that doesn't have any. I can see how DPW is going to address it, but it may also depend on each situation, as layouts may need to be different. I guess that depends. In different places, there's a different amount of space and so forth. But the fact that you can park on that cross hatching was news to me. So that's good to know. That would help, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah. And unless there's another one to the driver's side.
I hear you.
Then they can't get out.
Yeah. Here's was my question about the sand. There are several questions about Pear Tree that are budget related. Is replacement of all sand at Pear Tree Beach included in the current beach project? We know that both beaches will be enlarged, requiring new sand, but what about the rest of the sand? So we got the response back, and I know that Sandy
Carol.
probably mentioned it, but Jen said that the permits, first of all, no, that to replace all the sand is not in the current permits, number one. Number two, the current project has been reviewed and let's see, what it does, it does not include what would be necessary for the replacement addition of sand that, like we discussed. Upon their review, Weston and Sampson believes we would need state permits and potentially Army Corps permits as well, depending on the final scope of what would be involved. Based on this, it will not be included as part of this project. It will take some time to go through the permitting process, and we don't want to jeopardize the project in any way. This is something that she will need to look into a separate undertaking. So I think she was loath to put it in the budget, in the capital budget, without a number as to what it would cost and exactly what extent. What do you just want some sand? Do you want to take it away? Do you just want to add to it? I mean, I think that has to do with the permits and so forth. So I think the commission will have to decide what they want to do there.
I know there's other towns, like I think Westport at Campo Beach does it every year. I don't know about their shoulder beaches or whether or not, but it does seem to be excessive. If I know the state, I believe, technically owns a component of that, but it just seems unnecessarily complicated, or if there's any way for us or for the department to go ask other towns. Not to challenge what she's saying, but I would doubt that the town of Westport is going through that arduous of a process if they're doing it on an annual basis.
I think, well, since she came from Westport, she would know how
So that she would know, yeah.
She would know how Westport does it. I think the point was that she was relaying what Weston and Sampson was saying, number one. Number two, I think that she probably, since she was from Westport, she did mention to me that there were permits involved for things now that didn't used to be, because everybody, she says, as Cheryl would say, she's like, we've always done it. We've never had permits. Well, a lot of things now need permits that didn't used to. So that's one thing. But I think it's up to us to continue to ask that the commission and the department look into whether they replace it or add to it to do something with the quality of sand at Pear Tree. I just think we need to keep it on their radar so that they don't forget it.
Thank you for that.
Anybody else want to make a comment?
I would just, it's Patty, say that, I mean, we look at our peer towns for our education facilities and things like that in comparison. And I would encourage our Parks and Rec department to continually be reaching out and talking and meeting with their peers at New Canaan, at Greenwich. New Canaan doesn't have the beach, but just from a parks and facilities standpoint. Greenwich at Todd's Point, Westport, up and down, because what are they doing that could make our lives easier? I just think I hope we can improve communication with our peer group, Parks and Rec directors.
That's it. I think that's all the questions that we had that I asked. Is there anything else? Not too many things here going. Is there anything else on the budgets that anybody wants to ask or comment on?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
About the increase of price for some situations. Is because the job was not done, and then every year, of course, is an increase of the cost living. I think it's important to make sure that the work be done on time time frame, and this way we don't incur in extra charges.
I hear you. I think some of the reason why some of the estimates went up, that it's probably true.
Yeah, we needed to be ahead of that and avoid the increased cost. The job started to be done with that budget, and then no acceptance of increase of the cost.
I
I
think
mean,
people
it's important
sometimes,
to have a contract. The
Mhm.
contract have to be done in certain time, and then that is the money st- made available, and then the job will be done with that money. So we don't need to face increase of cost because living cost.
I think
If
it
they're
could be
late,
pushed off to the
they
next
happen
year
around.
when that happens, is my guess. But
Mhm.
that's just a generalized thing. I don't have an answer for you there. I agree. I agree.
Can I just say one little comment? Again, I'm in support of ADA. It's $4.2 million that they have in there as placeholders. That's over the 6-year period. And I would just ask that, Adele, if you can ask them how much they're working in conjunction with the folks that are focused on open space strategy. Jay-Z is creating a conservation commission. There's the sidewalk committee that's just getting filled right now, and just kind of the whole ADA improvement. It feels like there's a lot of different committees or commissions that could be hopefully talking and advising. I'm sure that Ed Gentile from Public Works is very informed on ADA and may be able to say to us, these are minor things that we don't really need to get to. These are major things, but you don't have to do it everywhere. I feel like if it's $4.2 million out there as placeholders, and to Andy's point, the more information we can get, so we're informed, the better. Thank you.
Right. Well, that's moving into the ADA, which is the next thing I put on our agenda. And the reason why I put it on there was just because of what you just said. It's a lot of money. And we don't know the specifics yet of so much of it. They are placeholders. And so I think it's probably a good idea that well, this is a good thing. And at the last Board of Selectmen's meeting, Jennifer Charneski gave an update to the Board of Selectmen on ADA, and she told them she was going to do it quarterly, trying to keep them up to date, because it is a lot of it's expensive hanging out there, and I don't have the analysis on that information I sent to you, and the departments do have the details of that from that audit of what was off, what wasn't right, how much it wasn't right. I mean, from what our first selectman has said more than once, evidently Weed Beach is just, it's like 200 different items. Now, some are tiny, but I don't know what they are. So I would be interested in finding that out, more about the ADA, the process, and how we're going forward. I know Jennifer Charneski is our coordinator, and she's obviously will keep the Board of Selectmen up to date. But I think I would love to have the RTM, have her come in and talk to us about it. Maybe not quite yet, because I think they're getting going. They don't quite know enough, but they certainly know what those audits said. And I would love to know more than I know right now. But at any rate, in her update, so I'm going to give you a little synopsis of what her update was to them. She's been to an online conference, and she's undergoing training to be certified to be the ADA coordinator for Darien. We need one. The WT group gave an ADA audit findings presented to the Board of Selectmen in September. And I think I sent you the report. I think I had the same report we saw from the commission in October. It included transition plan recommendations, and the audit was sponsored by Westcog, which we're part of. So one of the things she was talking about was the town website. What do we need to do with the town website? What have they done? What do they need to do? So first of all, they've created a web page for Americans with Disabilities Act information, posted the town's commitment to accessibility, added Title II notice and Title II grievance procedures, posted the audit final report and presentation. This is all on the town website. Departments are, and as we know this, departments are incorporating ADA into budgets. So the following budgets are police, public works, and parks and recreation. And then some of them have line items in the operating for smaller items. Park and Rec does this year. They're trying to segregate it so we can keep track of how much is going to be spent on it. Also, the capital 6-year plans. Park and Rec is showing 2-year plans. In the first year of the design, second year the construction. The town website compliance needs to be made. The town website needs to be made compliant by April 2027. The site has been made compliant. In other words, they've been busy on it with the addition of something called Audio Eye, which is an accessibility tool. If you go on the site, there's a little bit of a little blue eye to the right, and you can click on it, and it gives some options of ways that you can that can help people that have disabilities to be able to view the reports. It's a tool, and it also, aside from what I just described, it also can overlay documents that make them compliant. It's very interesting, a little gizmo. In the process, they are setting standards for documents and presentations, and for setting standards for meetings. They have created a standard accommodations declaration. That little ADA notice that was at the bottom of our agenda explains how you can receive accommodations for a meeting if needed. And they're on everybody's agendas now. The closed captioning on screens in meetings is available on 206, 119, and the auditorium. And we know that the RTM has been doing this already, for the meetings in the auditorium. And then there was a discussion about contractors needing to be made accountable to bill to the ADA standards. And they were exploring the best way to do that, built it into the contract. How do you do that? Obviously, we've had a lot of things built since these disabilities acts were created. And yet somehow there's so many things that don't meet the measure of exactly what it should be. So the question is, how do you hold them accountable? And do you need a third party? Do you need to be written into the contract? Talk to our neighbors. So that's all part of the plans going forward. That was that's sort of a synopsis of what she talked about. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments, or what you think about ADA and what we should be doing.
Well, it's Andy, and I hate to be a curmudgeon, but I call your attention to page 22 of this report. There are some things I don't understand here. Point number 26, it says leave as is the play structures at the following sites until next altered: McGuan Park and Weed Beach. But we just saw 500 grand put into Weed Beach.
I think the answer to that is that it's on the cycle for replacement. So that's why you see it in the future years in there.
It doesn't need to be replaced. What's wrong? I'd like to hear what's wrong with it.
Okay.
The kids love it.
I will ask it.
And at the bottom of page 22, it's talking about beach access. We recommend that a minimum of 1 access point, very last paragraph, of every 3 be accessible. We saw 3 beaches. This is news to me. Well, I guess there are 2 at Pear Tree.
That's it.
And none were accessible. I challenged this. There's been a mat on Weed Beach, and they went on September 29th. That was the time when the mat was removed.
I'm not sure. Well, that's possible, but I think we know that. So the point is that I think, so that we should have 3 mats for 3 beaches. That's all.
Well, there's a mat already. It says
Well, but
none were
it didn't go
accessible.
in till
So
July.
if you go down in December, of course there are not going to be any.
Right. I think, perhaps this audit was done before those mats went in, because remember, they couldn't be purchased till the 1st of July. I'm just guessing, Andy, but we know that it's been made accessible. So, but right, it should be at the three beaches, the front and the back at Pear Tree, and then one at Weed. And I know that when we were part of the process, when they redid those plans for the expansion of Weed Beach, another mat was added there too, for a second one for Weed. So anyway, but of course,
why does nobody challenge this? Here I am, a volunteer.
Well, that's what you're here
That's all
for.
I have to do. Yeah. All I do is open my eyes. Don't they read these reports? What did we pay for this?
Well, it's a stamp in time, and obviously that was before the mats were there, or they didn't see them. I don't know the answer to that.
After.
But we know they're there, so therefore we're in compliance.
That's great. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
That the 38-page overview that we got, if is there the ability to really deep dive and get much more of the details somewhere? Do you know if it's on our town website, or if we're able to get access for it? Only because, again, we're talking about $4.2 million of ADA being put into capital budget for us over the next 6 years. So the more we know and we're informed, we can support what really makes sense, and then we can maybe ask more questions on other things. So I'm just wondering, I'm sure that was a top line report, the 38-page, correct?
Right, and that's the one that was put up on the website. So yeah,
Right.
I think it's a good question to ask.
Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Do we know if the state provides any assistance for ADA compliance? Or is it all the town solely responsible for this?
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm assuming that's a town, but I don't know the answer.
Yeah, it's better to find out. Can we find out?
Sure.
I would think that the state is going to have some oversight. I know at the federal level, there's been a lot of talk about rolling back ADA requirements. Whether that's right or not, I'm not making a comment on that. But I think the administration is talking like that, and it may be that there's more pressure on states to pick up the ball, so to speak. So I would anticipate the state being more involved.
Okay.
I'm just curious because it sounds, it's a big, huge budget that we have to, forego for this. So just curious.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, it is. Good question. Anything else, guys?
Set. Then.
Okie doke. Let's move on to the updates from the committees and so forth. Sandy, you want to start us off with the Pear Tree Building Committee?
Sure. So we met last week, and the dredging's going really well. They have 60% finished. They have to be done by the end of the month, and they see no problem in having that take place. The weather's cooperating and everything. They're also they're already working on the parking lot. The parking lot's completely closed now to anybody. They're doing the sidewalk and extending the beaches, and then they're also doing trenches for the water. And also the way they're getting rid of the dredging material is through trucking, through the bags, and they looked into it, and it is not increasing any cost to us. So that's great. The other thing was that the boat club didn't want them to get too close to the pilings, so that saves us too. But it's all getting done. What else? Hold on. We paid Weston Sampson's a portion of their fee. We've paid up to what we have removed in the dredging. And what else? I think that's about it. It's all going really well.
And ahead of schedule, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Boy, what a mess. I'm glad
There's
they
a
know
lot
what
of
they're doing.
activity.
Oh
A
my
lot of
goodness.
activity.
Oh wow. Oh golly. All righty. Does anybody else have any updates from the committees that you follow, the commissions that you follow?
Just have a short one from beautification. They had a meeting today. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend, so the information I have is a little bit outdated since it's from their meeting in December. But I did want to make people aware of the Darien Blooms, it's the That's My Brick fundraiser, and it's up online right now. So it's to revitalize the Mechanic Street Garden. And you can get on the site that'smybrick.com, and you can order a brick in different sizes, and the deadline's April 15th. So maybe sort of spread that around. Might be fun to help support that. And that's one of the things that they've got going on. And then otherwise, there are a couple open spots on the commission. So if any of you know of someone who's interested in joining, you can mention that to them. So apart from that, not a whole lot going on that I could, report on that pertains to our group. But I thought that was something to know about. So,
Penny, can
That's
I ask
great.
a question? So the Mechanic Street brick program, what's the next one that they're going to do? Do you know the location?
oh, that's a great question. No, actually, I don't know the next one, but I can find out and
Yeah,
let you
if
know.
you could get
Yeah.
us a list of when they plan to do them. So for
Okay.
example, I'm in District 1, so I'd probably be inclined to want to do a donation in my district. And so we have
Right.
people in all of our districts here, District 6. So that would be helpful.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
great idea. Yeah.
Patty, maybe Brick Hanson Road.
we got the bridge, as long as they don't shut down the street again.
Okay, great. I'll find that out and let you know.
Because I know
That's
they
a great
identified
idea.
which ones they're doing. I just don't know when they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, thanks.
Anyone else? Trevor asked me after the last meeting, or he told me that he would be interested in doing the advisory committee on coastal waters, following them. So I don't know that you've been able to do that so far, Trevor, but I just want to let everybody know that you volunteered.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't have an update, but I'll get on it for our next meeting.
Yeah, they don't meet all the time,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody have, I'm gonna say I really haven't, nobody's assigned sort of to Great Island anymore because, but because once they dissolved the committee there. But I did notice today as I drove past, it looks to me like they've moved, that the entrance, they've moved the pillars or they built new ones.
Oh.
It definitely looks wider than it was, and it looked like they've ripped up the road
Wow.
there. So. And Patty, there is something on the agenda for the RTM, yes? That's Great Island, is it $27,000 for?
It's a topography study.
That's
Yes. In order to do some further work there. They had to do a topography study. So that was approved by the Board of Selectmen, and then it was approved by the Board of Finance. And so now it'll come to the RTM the end of January. Yes.
So they can do the parking and,
Correct. Yes. To tie it to get to, because the main goal is to get parking on. Correct.
to get people on the island. So, if anybody like to volunteer to sort of follow Great Island, just let me know.
I'll still do it, Adele. I just didn't know if you wanted me to, since GIAC was separated, but you can, but we can also have somebody else do it too.
Well, anybody else that wants to, let me know. Otherwise, Patty will keep going. I think it's probably a good idea. We keep an eye,
Yeah.
keep just to know what's going on. I think that's it. I don't have a lot for the chairman's report because I think we mostly talked about. All right, if I can find the chairman's report. Okay. We talked about the sand at Pear Tree. So, and that we're going to need to hang in there and keep talking about it. The other update I have really is the Tilly Park Ponds and Cherry Lawn Park Ponds.
Yes.
I guess I really didn't realize, by the way, that they're doing both ponds at Tilly, which is great. So it's the two ponds at Tilly and the Cherry Lawn Pond. Okay. They got two bids and awarded awarded the project to New England Aquatic Services. They're going to be dredging. They're doing all three ponds in the dredging project. And right now they're in the permitting stage, so they've got to go to EPC, et cetera. So as long as they get the permits, they hope to have the dredging done by late April. This group uses the hydraulic method, so they sort of suctioning the bottom of the ponds section by section, I think. And then then of course it has to dewater in the park and then it'd be removed. And then the areas need to be remediated afterwards, grass seed, et cetera. So be early June, likely. So, and it all depends on when they get the permitting finished. So hopefully they can do the dredging in April.
Can I ask a question? So she said that they have to go to the EPC, but do we have to go to the state as well?
She didn't say if she had to go to the state as well. She just said there was permitting process and starting with the EPC. So.
Okay. And just to confirm, so their plan is to start in April?
We're hoping to get the dredging done in April.
Dredging in April, and then you said something about June. Is that when the dredging, they have to do the dredging and lay it there around the edges? It would be completed. Their goal is to be completed by June. I didn't hear you.
I think they're hoping to have the area completed and then reseeded. They've got to,
Great.
Okay. They've got to put grass seed down, et cetera. So probably be early June by the time it's all done.
So Adele, on that note, can you do me a favor? Can you just ask Jen this question? Can you ask her the status of the $18,000 that was allocated to Cherry Lawn for native plantings that were to replace the invasives that were taken out 2 years ago? That money is still there. And I remember watching a Parks and Rec Commission meeting where Mary Louise Morgan asked that question more recently, like at one of their last meetings. And so they were holding off on doing it because they wanted to do the dredging around that first. And so I just am, double checking on that 18K for the Cherry Lawn natives planting to replace the invasives that will go kind of somewhat near the pond.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And any other questions on that? Also that, hiring. They did hire a senior manager of recreation programs, Lexi Polasek, who started January 5th. This is a new position that incorporates the sort of youth summer camp management, and it also assists the manager of the Park and Rec programs, another hand in the programs. They have selected a person for the manager of recreation programs. They were interviewing back in December, and HR is going through the hiring process now, so they don't have a name to give us nor a start date, but it's in process, which is not good to hear because Jim Coughlin's had his hands full, particularly getting the program brochure ready for the spring. But they seem to be on track with that.
That's great.
Yeah. So I think they'll be glad to be at full strength here. Coming up in February 6th is a Sweetheart Dance at Town Hall in the Town Hall gym. And then on February 2nd, the 10th, 11th, and 12th, the Valentine's Cupcake Decorating Workshops are going to be held. So that's about it I had for updates. Is there anything, any other new business for anybody else?
No.
Okay, guys. I think that is it. And so, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Anna?
Happy New
Yeah,
Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sandy and Carrie, all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Happy New
Thanks,
Year.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.